Okay, hey everybody. We are going to share the screen and head over to Town Hall 82. Town Hall 82, very excited about this one. A lot of background information to give you about the Advanced Time Series Resource Usage Dashboard for Partners. What is that all about? It's all about giving channel partners the access to all of the data logs that we use and collect to define overages. I know that's been a long time coming. We can't wait to charge overages, and I'm sure you can't wait to be able to see the data usage at a fine-grained level. So in getting overages all set up and also be multi-cloud, multi-stack, multi-region compatible, so it can work across all individual servers, across all individual regions, and across AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure when that is released, takes a lot of effort. So Derek and the team in the DevOps team have spent a lot of time working on this to make it what it is. And in today's demo, it will be just a high level. It's going to be running against staging, some staging demo data, and it's not too far away from actually being made available for some QA. And we will then, of course, have it so that you will be able to see usage stats across all of your client sites through the partner portal as well. We're starting with a subset of data, but as we are able to collect more and more different types of data, that will be instrumented into the dashboard as well. So you'll be able to access a lot more than what I'm showing you initially over time. Also, I threw in as a little bonus, the pOSify import demo. What is pOSify? platformOSify is a tool that was developed, put together very quickly by Pavel to use as a proof of concept that allows us, or you, anybody who uses the tool, because it's open sourced, to point it to a site and pull down, do a get, pull all of the content down into a local folder, run some parsing over the top of it, maybe switch out form actions to use a different action, maybe identify some other specific HTML code that needs to be replaced and switched out, maybe even take a look at the forms and automatically create a schema and have a YAML file created for different models. All sorts of things can happen. So that we can pull sites from Business Catalyst and redeploy them. So it makes the job easier for a developer to migrate from Business Catalyst or Shopify or Weebly, Wix or Squarespace or literally anything that you can access through a browser. And I'm going to show you that live as well. So hopefully everything goes well. But firstly, let us jump in and look at the demo. Now, the dashboard that was presented in the social media posts that we had was a lot more complex than the one I'm going to show you today. I am showing you something that is totally configurable, but we're going to drill into some of the data related to this particular view. And I'm guessing you can all see the demo screen, and I'm flipping over, and now hopefully you can see the Visual Studio page. Is that what's coming up? Yeah, great. Thanks, Martin, for confirming. And I'm actually looking specifically for a different folder. And here we are. Here's the dashboard. So what we're going to cover off is a little bit of background of what's going on in here. We are using some cool tooling in the background to do time series data reporting. And the database that's been selected for that is one that can handle gazillions of data points in real time in mass from lots and lots of different sources. It's one that's used for IoT device analytics. And you can imagine with monitoring devices, millions and millions of those devices all over the place and sucking in data and making sure that you can aggregate it and report on it, you need something really incredibly fast. So we specifically chose this, and the front end dashboard is really elegant as well. So what we're going to be doing is making this available so that through the partner portal, you'll be able to access and see what's going on. All of the sites that you're deploying, what's the storage usage across those sites? These little UUIDs are just anonymized site names. Again, this is just a staging, one of the staging stacks specifically on platformOS in the US region. So this is real data that we've been mucking around with, and we can come over here and we can look at the data over a period of time. So let's, oh, it's clicking on, it's annoyingly, it's clicking on my, what do you call it? Zoom panel. So I'm going to try and get rid of, there we go. I'm going to try and move that. So here we go. Click on the right thing now. So we can look at, say, the last 3 hours. And you'll see all of the stats will change. If I go back to the last 24 hours, it will change again. I'll be able to zoom in to a particular range, and everything then will readjust to that time and display the data relative to that time. And if we go back to the 12-hour view, we can start to go and look at what's going on behind the scenes here. So this is going to allow you to see things like, what are the slow graph queries that are running on my, under my channel, under my partner portal? So what are the sites specifically that are maybe not optimized correctly in some of the queries? You might have really complex models, nesting, and massively overcomplicated queries that are being run that could be simplified. And so this will help you to identify those, or your developers. What are the long-running background jobs and failed background jobs? You can see there's a lot here. What are the sites that are awaiting background jobs to be completed within that time that you've selected? How many notifications are being sent via text or email, and which sites they relate to? So there's all sorts of cool data here. Load balancer requests, how many database records per site, and storage. And the way we're able to add new bits of dashboard data is simply by just adding a new panel. We can add a query to that panel and define which database we want to use. Here we go. So InfluxDB, we've used Prometheus, which is another really good logging database, but InfluxDB is the one that we're using for time series data. When we select that, we simply go in and we can say, hey, we want the data that relates to a particular field and value, and we want to group by, let's say, a particular, by domain. And we want that to be either a table or time series. And then we can move it forward and choose what type of display it's going to be. Is it going to be bars and lines and points? And very quickly put together a new panel that relates to the data that we're wanting to graph. And we can choose the type of bar, table, stat, text, heat maps, etc. So once all of the data is being collected in time series, which we're already doing, and we're doing that for usage and overages, we're then able to start to graph it and provide really cool dashboard around the usage on a per channel partner basis for you to drill in and get the stats that are most meaningful to you. And as I said, more and more of this data will become available, and the ability to access that and make smart decisions on it. So that's hopefully. Oh, have we got a question? Nope. All right, maybe is that Colin in the background? Let's mute him if we can. Yeah, there we go. Mute. That was Colin.
I think Daniel came in and might not have muted straight away.
Oh, okay. Oh, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. So this is the dashboard. I'm going to now just open up to some questions specifically around this. It is, as I said, something that we've got in staging. We're playing with it before we put it into a QA environment for you to play with. And I just wanted to highlight just how cool it is, because it's going to allow for some really smart decisions to be made around where your development efforts go, as far as, hey, we've got some queries that need optimizing, we've got background jobs that might be failing for reasons like, oh, it's a third-party reliance on some third-party service that's down. We're getting lots and lots of notifications coming through in a spiked way. Maybe there's a site that's getting a denial of service, even though the load balancer is letting all the traffic through. So this is going to be useful, I think. And any questions right now?
Can this store server logs?
Yeah, so that's actually what it's doing. It's pulling server logs across the board. So it's load balancer logs, individual application server logs, database logs, and if there's some specific information that you're looking for from server logs, let us know, and it may be something that we can add. If it's a bit of time series data, it can be consumed and then displayed in the dashboard. So the answer is yes. In fact, all of this information is coming from various sources of server data logs.
Sorry, I more meant the ones that you can log yourselves, or any GraphQL errors. You know, the ones you can do.
Oh, okay. So in respect to that you just access those logs like you do now through the CLI.
CLI, okay.
But you're getting the detail of the error. This is more to give you that dashboard view across everything. Yeah. So it's like, oh wow, we've got a lot of long-running queries, slow graph queries going on. Let's go and look at the logs to see if we can get exactly the detail around which ones. And being able to do that based on a specific point in time. And we will be keeping these logs for up to 30 days, I think. Yeah, up to 30 days. The last 90 is 6 months, probably purge that out in an archive, but you'll be able to, at least within the first few days of going live with the site or putting up some new code that you're wanting to keep an eye on, it'll be really useful for that. Any other questions? Thoughts and feedback? Of course, Derek would have lots of technical information that he was going to pile on into this. So what I'll do now is go to the next step and show you the pOSify import tool in action. So let's go and do that. The site that I am going to import from BC is this one here called peeranalytics.com.au. And you'll notice that it's a Business Catalyst site. So there we are, Business Catalyst. And we can double check that by going /admin. Or is it? Yeah, admin. There you go. It's BC. You recognize that. All right, so here we go. We're on peeranalytics.com.au. I'm going to quickly run Lighthouse on this. We'll generate a Lighthouse report just for comparison's sake. And before we actually start importing it down and mucking around with the code, I'm going to create, there we go. So there's our Lighthouse performance report. Only one thing in the green. Now I'm going to go into my instances and create a new instance for this. So we're going to call this Peer Analytics Town Hall. That's what I'm calling it. I'm going to put it on production. Why not? I'm going to put it on production, and I'm going to put it on my cheapy free site and head off to Peer Analytics Town Hall. And it's scheduled to activate. Now, of course, this site that I've just created is blank. And we take a look at it right now. Go over. It's just the Hello World kind of platformOS generic landing page because we haven't deployed any code to it yet. The tool that I'm stepping into next is called pOSify. And you can install it on your machine. And in fact, a number of partners are already using this and expanding the scope of what it does in a big way. This, as I said earlier, was a proof of concept to make sure that we could pull down files from any website and turn them into a site that we can deploy to platformOS. Some partners are doing some really cool magic behind the scenes and extending the functionality of this in exceptional ways. In fact, you could spin up a nice serverless Lambda thing and import thousands and thousands and thousands of sites simultaneously. So what I'm showing you is in a little microcosm. Channel partners will be able to use this and do all sorts of stuff for incredible load, import and export. Sorry, export from platform somewhere else to import into platformOS. So you can go along to pOSify. Thank you, Pavel, for building this tool. And firstly, you want to go and install pOSify onto your environment. Now, I'm going to skip down that part because I've already installed it. And I'm going to run a few commands from the command line prompt, which I will bring up right now. Here we are. I'm on a terminal window on my Mac. And as you can see, there's nothing in this directory. It's my MacBook Pro, and I did a quick directory listing. There's nothing there. I have a little cheat sheet, which I'm just going to use to cut and paste because it's just quicker for me. And I've created the new instance in Partner Portal. We've downloaded pOSify. I've opened the terminal. I'm in the import folder, which I created. And now what I'm going to do is import the site that we're playing with, Pure Analytics. So if we go over here, you'll notice I'm using the super user account on my Mac to activate the pOSify download. You probably won't need to do that. I'm just not good at Macs, so that's why I have to do it. I'm going to run this command. It's asking me for my super user password, which I've just, okay, here we go. I've put in the wrong arguments. You know what? I'm not going to bother with this concurrency. What you're able to do is actually turn up the number of connections. And, that's probably why. I think that is why.
Yes.
Yes, that is. No, it is. It's actually, here we go. It's always the way. Let me just go back. I'm going to get rid of concurrency. You can actually increase the concurrency so that you can have multiple threads going to a site. So if you've got a larger site, you can say instead of 15, which is the default, I could have 30 concurrent connections. I put a syntax error in there, and I honestly couldn't be bothered checking to see what I did. I just wanted to run. Anyway, it was really quick. So right now, if I do a list of the directory, you'll see that there's a folder there called www.pureanalytics.com.au. Awesome. So we've got that downloaded. And there's a few commands that I'm going to use to make it cool. So if we go off into that folder, got pureanalytics.com.au, and there it is. There's my app folder. I'm going to run these other commands. I'm going to use the pOSify optimize CSS command. And what this will do is it's going to do what it says, optimize the CSS. Boom, just done. So it's minified those. And then we can also do the same with images, but the tool required to do the image optimization, I haven't bothered installing properly. So I'm going to ignore images. So these are just straight the same images that were already up on the site. Running the optimization of images is very well, it's recommended if you're pulling stuff over from BC, because often they don't actually do very good. A lot of people don't optimize images on BC sites, so it's always a good idea to do it. I'm now going to optimize JavaScript, and we'll run that. And 5 JavaScript files were optimized. We'll now go and pOSify forms. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, on Business Catalyst, a form submission is done with an ASPX command. If we go over and take a look at, let's go to Get in Touch and take a look at the form here. If we view the page source and take a look at the form action, there it is. The form action is doing an ASPX submission for that web form ID and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, that isn't going to work on platformOS. So what we want to do is automatically parse for those sorts of BC related commands or files or HTML tags or whatever it is, and convert it, map it to platformOS. The same can be done for any other third-party system. If there's certain syntax and regular expressions that are patterns in the way that Shopify does it or others, you can map it and switch them out automatically using a little tool like this. So we're going to pOSify the forms, and it goes off and it's looking, it's parsing, it goes, hey, we've just pOSified it. What that means now is that form on the site, when we deploy it to platformOS, when people submit it, it will automatically send an email of that contact to the email associated with that site. So for small brochureware websites that you're migrating from other places, that will allow the forms to just still work. And this is where some of the genius of our channel partners are coming in. They're not just doing that, they're actually doing automatic conversion into CRM and a whole bunch of other things as well. So watch this space. We've just pOSified the form, and everything I'm doing too could be turned into one script and done in one hit. In fact, the whole thing could be automated through a nice GUI that I think some channel partners are working on as well. I see a head nodding there. SiteGlide. And updated URLs in 5 files as well. So suddenly I've pulled the site down to my local computer. I've run some scripts over it. It's done all the magic. What to do next? Well, remember we created that site over here, which currently is a platformOS generic landing page. I'm going to go back to my partner portal though, and I'm going to grab my pOSCLI little setup string, which will allow me now to go in and initialize. Firstly, I'm going to do that. In fact, let me just, oops, quit that. Step ahead of myself. pOSCLI init. So I'm initializing this folder. I'm going to set it all up. Lovely. And I'm going to, there it all is. I'm now going to add my command string for setting the production environment. Now, if I go back, I'm going to probably have to do this just in case. Let's do it that way. I'm going to set up the production environment. There we go. Environment for peer analytics has been set as the production environment for me successfully. That means that for this folder that I'm sitting in here, when I run my pos deploy production, which is pOSCLI deploy to which environment? My production environment. It's going to do some magic in the background. So we pulled the site down. We ran a couple of scripts over it. I then had a site set up, which I am now pushing all of that code to the production site that I created. And it's deploying in the background. So off it goes. There's no issues in the audit that it did. And boom, success, 22 seconds. Let's now go back to our little site here and do a refresh. And voila, what do we have here? Our peer analytics website, which still is, of course, over there on peeranalytics.com.au, and I've just replicated it and pOSified it. So it's working. The image paths are working, all the cool effects are working, these links are working. Let's go off to this page. There is, let's go back to the home page. My little Google is cranking, get in touch. Web form, let's just go and do something here, send. It did an error, so it's gone off and it's sent that contact to me, or to the person associated with my support email for that instance, and boom, it just works. Let's now go back to the home page and run Google Lighthouse report viewer. So in BC, on the homepage, we ran the Lighthouse report. It's not too bad considering that that website was built 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's never been touched since. And we've now got it imported and whoa, look at that. Without too much of anything going on, we're jumped from. The performance is up in the green, which is great. SEO has dropped. We didn't do anything related to the image optimization. We've also gone in increased in best practices. Now the SEO thing, well, let's just take a look at what that metadata description and pages blocked from indexing. Why? Because we do that because it's we haven't pointed the main domain to it. So we actually block indexing. So I would expect SEO best practice to drop because we're actually blocking indexes from hitting that site. We don't want a duplicate content issue when people are haven't gone live and repointed their domain to it. So in fact, overall, if we were to point the domain name of Pure Analytics to this new site, and I could probably do that in about 5 minutes, but then I have to go to GoDaddy and name servers and just switch them out. So, all right, 6 minutes. We would then rerun this, and SEO would be probably back up at 99, and everything would be honky-dory. It would go in and update some accessibility, update best practices, and we would have a far better experience overall, even just a straight import like for like from Business Catalyst to platformOS. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a taste for what's been going on in the background with our team. Of course, analytics is a big, important thing, and it's a really, really tough, hard job. So Derek has done an incredible job. Derek and the DevOps team work tirelessly on making sure that everything runs great. He's multi-cloud, and that's the hardest part, I have to say. If we were just on AWS, it's much easier, but we don't want to be. We want to give everybody choice. So Google Cloud, Azure soon, but all the instrumentation, all the logging is done in a way that will work anywhere, on any stack, any region, on any infrastructure provider. And Pavel, in setting up the pOSify little package here and some channel partners already using that, as I've just demonstrated, we can take a site from point A and import it over into platformOS point B and immediately see results that are better than Business Catalyst without really doing a single thing other than moving it from there to us. So watch this space. You're going to see some channel partners really begin to leverage the pOSify tools. Some of the documentation that we've been putting out recently relates to, and here's actually one more thing. We're talking about time series data. I knew there was a reason. Time series data is what we're seeing here. Pure Analytics, actually as a product, has a patent that analyzes time series data and predicts and identifies peer group analysis. And this is the product here. And it just so happens that it's a patent that myself and Professor John Galloway, a famous Australian, built. And you will see predictive analytics as part of the platformOS platform. It's already working, and hence the migration of Pure Analytics over to platformOS. And we're going to have some even further exciting things for partners to tap into. For big sites, this is really exciting. It's a patent that doesn't expire till 2034, and it does all sorts of really cool stuff with peer group analysis, time series data. I hope that gives you a bit of a insight into what goes on behind the scenes. It's not all front-facing, beautiful website building. There's a lot of back-end stuff that is really where the iceberg exists. Most of the effort on platformOS, you just don't see. It goes unseen behind the scenes, and I have to be really grateful and shout out to my team for the incredible effort that they do. So opening up to questions right now. Anyone got any questions, feedback, thoughts? The crowd goes wild. Cue the clapping music.
So Adam, earlier Martin actually had 2 questions there. You might want to check the chat panel.
Oh yeah, I might just do that. Let me stop my share and head over to chat because it looks like some chats. Yes. Gotcha. So Martin's asked, we'd set up this dashboard on a front-end specific instance, or will it be within, it's inside the partner portal. Version 1 will be partner portal, and you'll be able to, it's really for partners to access and get a snapshot. It's like going into Amazon Web Services console or Google Cloud console or Azure console. There's just so many different things all over the place, and we're trying to just consolidate that for our channel partners so you can keep your finger on the pulse there. Over time, yes, on a per instance basis, you will be able to see things as well. So drill in, look at an instance. Of course, that's how we're doing our billing. And really, this is just exposing more and more of the back end that helps us identify usage across all of the clusters so that we can then bill accordingly, but also give you access to that data as well. So yes, dashboard in Partner Portal across all instances or individual instances. And then from there, you would be able to choose what you expose to a client. I mean, there's probably no real use case for a client to drill into some of that data. They don't want to see probably that maybe a few of you have long-running graph queries that need to be optimized. And so you might want to keep that to yourself. The import stuff is super ace. I love that word. It takes me back to my childhood. Ace. I use that all the time. I couldn't believe my ears when we heard about it. So much potential. Thanks, Martin. It's very true. We do have a lot of potential with it, especially when it's in the hands of people who can drive that. We've created the Lexus version. It's high quality, and you're going to turn it into a Ferrari, because by the time you tune the engine and add some things, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, we're very, very happy with it. Well done again to Derek and Pavel, Piotr involved, Ignacy, the whole team around QA, doing an incredible job, and we're excited for the future, I have to say. It's very exciting. Any other thoughts, questions? All right. Well, that was a nice, concise, short, intimate town hall. And I am very thankful for all of you who would otherwise be out partying right now. And I know many of you are allowed out to party on the lawn without being arrested. So that's a good thing. And I hope that in the next coming few weeks, more and more of you will get out and get sunshine, vitamin D, and keep healthy, stay sane, don't get cabin fever too much under the circumstances we now live, and also get ready to import lots and lots of sites from all those other competitive products and show them why moving to platformOS is the best thing they'll ever do. They'll get out of the jail they never knew that they were in. Right, Cole?
Legend. Well done, mate.
That's Colin's favorite phrase. Hey, I didn't realize where I was stuck in this confined space. And now I've got the world at my fingertips. You mean you can build anything? Yep. All right. It's ace. It is ace. It's ace, Scott. It's ace, Daniel. It's ace, Alexandra. Daniel, David, Josh, Scott, mentioned already, Colin, Daniel, Pavel, Derek, Ignacy, Piotr, Maciek, the whole team behind the import tool, behind the overages, and doing a great job of QA, Hubert and Jacek as well. And of course, our front end team who just keep smashing it out of the park with some of these big, awesome changes we're doing to our own website and documentation. And our award-winning documentation is so good. All right, well, thank you everybody for being part of this. Look forward to getting your feedback, seeing you use the tools. You can go off now, head off right away if you want. If you're interested, you can go over to the NPM package for pOSify, download it, play around with it. Maybe you've got a half a dozen sites that you wanted to experiment with, feel free. And we've got channel partners also working on a whole bunch of cool beta versions that will way enhance what we've done. Imagine a back-end admin that lets you do some cool things. I see heads nod. Yep. All right. Thanks again. And I'll see you at the next town hall. Bye for now.